Hello, everyone. Greetings. I'm back here, and today is still Friday, November 7th, 2025. So, if you're just coming in, you're onto the JMA connection. And my dear friends, my dear people of the Southern Cameroons, my dear people of Amazonia, my dear friends of La République du Cameroun, and all lovers of freedom across Africa and the world. I am back here today for us to look at certain issues again relating to the situation in La République du Cameroun, in the Republic of Cameroon after the just past elections. And the ongoing tension that, some people think it's going down, and I rather see from, the things I'm getting from security sources, the situation is going worse, it's not going better. At the surface, it may seem as if it's, improving, but factually, it's not improving at all. It's rather getting worse. I had this article that I looked at just before I came here in the studio, and that article made me laugh. I'm absolutely going to be saying a lot of very interesting things here on this broadcast. So if you have just joined, please make sure you don't go away. Just hang in there, and you can share the link as much as possible. Let's get other people to join us. I know it's pretty late already. In West Africa on ground zero in southern Cameroon, and of course in La République du Cameroon. I know it's pretty late. So if you're up at this time, share the link. And if you are just joining us for the first time on this platform, you're not yet subscribed, go ahead, hit on the subscribe button. Make sure you personalize so that you stay informed on exactly what is going on around us. I want to first of all express gratitude to all of you who have been reaching out with messages of, of encouragement for, the contribution I'm making to ensure that we get a free homeland. Thank you so much. So this article, I read it on Phoenix, and it's like it's a write-up by one Benjamin Zebaze. And this Benjamin Zebaze is among one of the long-time fighters for, for democratic transition in the Republic of Cameroon. And in that data, he actually titled it, "Those who have followed politics in this country since 1990 know that it is over." That's exactly what I want to talk about. Zebaze says those who have followed politics in this country since 1990 know that it is over. And to some extent, Zebaze will be right when he recounts, talks about his experience, talks about his knowledge of Anise Ekane, who is currently in detention, talks about his knowledge of Jokam Chameni, who is now in detention, talks about the harassment, the ongoing arrests, the loss of lives, the loss of property, and the delusion that should be consuming the hearts, souls, and minds of the people, and then talks about Yaounde's, approach to things that, I mean, they don't know how to go back to any decision that they have made. Once they have made it, they are stoic, they are difficult, they are, focused on grinding everyone to make sure that they stay where they are. But you see, I know this kind of thinking, this kind of resignation is what should be in a lot of people's minds, especially after this other day is going by with no one hearing from Issa Chiroma Bakari. And I'll be coming to Issa Chiroma Bakari's silence in just a little bit. But I want to harp on this particular article by Benjamin Zebaze to tell anyone who is observing the situation in Cameroon, in the Republic of Cameroon right now, to note that the dynamics have changed between 1990 and 2025. The dynamics have changed tremendously, and I want you who are following me to understand that anyone who is writing the people of La République du Cameroon off right now at this point in time, you must be definitely mistaken. You know, events can come, resemble each other, and the same causes may generally be known to have the same effects, but except that every rule has an exception. Yes, if you followed Bruno Bijang and the other gentleman, Ernest Obama, talk on news networks back in Cameroon, they were so excited seeing the same causes will produce the same effects, because after all they knew that once the results of the elections are proclaimed and Issa Chiroma Bakari is either put under house arrest or arrested and detained, his supporters will come out to make a noise. They will kill a few, arrest a lot others, come out with very serious stringent measures against people, then make some flamboyant, lousy reform proposals mirroring something like something really so great and good before the young people who would definitely be the fuel in the engine of this resistance, and then if everything will suddenly die down, and then of course they will tell them, don't worry, it's only 7 years. Paul Biya is already very old, he's about to die, those dynamics have changed. And for good reason, I say those dynamics have changed. Listen, folks, you would know from my presentations that I was going to be about the first to write off the people of La République du Cameroun. But from all of the security reports I've gathered on the ground, from all the communications I've had with people in various parts of La République du Cameroun, and from communications I've had with some well-placed individuals, I can assure you that it is not over. No, on the contrary, it seems it's just about to start. It's even true that Issa Chiroma Bakari himself has said the fourth phase of his resistance, of his plan for resistance, could become even more complicated than the first three phases. And so people who think that they're counting just on ghost towns, I think you should forget about that. But trust me, ghost towns are still going to play a major role. I'm sure you have seen for yourself already that just a week and a few days into this communication and transportation challenges, Yaounde is already airlifting. I mean airlifting onion from the northern regions into both Yaounde and Douala. Airlifting, bringing by air. And you've heard the cost. You've heard the cost. That the cost is getting prohibitive. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You saw how the people, especially of the Adamawa, are so motivated, and they are so on the alert, and the level of their determination appears ironclad. You have heard of the things that have happened in Banyo. This should be a pointer to you. Banyo is not just any kind of administrative unit. Banyo is a junction administrative unit. There is no way you will leave the Adamawa and go to the southern Cameroons, especially in the Donga Mantung area, without passing through Banyo, through that administrative unit. It's the same thing that will relate to moving down to the east, or also even moving down south. And so the flux of transportation, even if you ferry goods in the train, you finally succeed in repairing the areas where the railway sleepers has been, obstructed, slightly destroyed, and you bring a train all the way to Yaounde. How do you get the goods go past Yaounde? Or how do you get products go past Yaounde to come into Yaounde, to the railway station where they will be shipped down south? So this is a major challenge. Today they are airlifting onion. Will they be able to airlift cattle so that they will be able to get meat down south? Would they be able to airlift goats, sheep, so that they should get this meat down south? This is a big challenge. They will also be able to airlift millet, to airlift grain, to airlift sorghum. You believe so? So my people, you should note that the major difference between the years 1990 right up to 2018 and now is that geographically, this is what you should note most especially, geographically, the tables have turned so bad, because the candidate who has won this election is not from a region which can be treated as a one-off. You know, in 1992, it was easy to block Nijon Frundi inside Bamenda and then make sure that the epicenter of the resistance, that was Bamenda, could be choked to the point where the people will, at the end of the day, give up. And of course, because the northwest, it was not a cluster of regions, and then the southwest was not very much in solidarity, although the people from the same region, like I should say former West Cameroon or former British Southern Cameroon, today Ambazonia. And then in 2018, I'm skipping the other years because you didn't have any stiff resistance come up the other years, because they started breaking the opposition and going crescendo. But when the opposition started lifting its head again out of the waters through 2011 until 2018, where Maurice Kamto had gathered a huge following, they were also again able to carry this kind of exaction, hold down Maurice Kamto under house arrest and everything, because he was even in Yaounde. Maurice Kamto was not in the west, he was even in Yaounde. And even if he were in the west region, it would still have been, very easy to, got him into trouble. Because number one, the southern Cameroons, that's the northwest, and the southwest, I'm calling it this way so they could understand it, that could come in for reinforcement and all of those things, were already very, very focused on the freedom of the southern Cameroons, not interested in the politics of the Republic of Cameroon, just like it is the case in 2025. And the West is not known as that region that could all by itself resist. Even its geographical location did not give it that so much advantage, and they could not count on other regions, although there are a huge majority in the littoral, but they couldn't pull it. But today the situation is different. We are dealing here with a candidate who comes from an area where three regions together are a cluster. This is a factor you need to bear in your mind very carefully. The Adamawa, the north and the far north are a cluster. This is where the problem comes. And so because these three regions are a cluster, there is a gateway region. There is a gateway region, which together with the far north region sandwich the north region, from which Issa Tchiroma Bakari comes. So the north is in the middle. If you bring things from the far north, you will not be able to break through to pass through the north. If you even bring from the Adamawa, you will not be able to break through to pass through the north to get to the far north and to get to N'Djamena. That's to get to Chad to go and supply. And so this is a big problem. But worse, you see that right now, one of the hottest spots in those northern regions is Banyo. And Banyo is in the Adamawa. So which means that even that particular region that serves as the door, which holds the key to the three northern regions, is extremely volatile. And now, unlike in the previous years, you have a people who are also known for their ironclad determination. You have a people who for a long time have learned how to defeat death, how to defeat fear. And the people who do not fear death cannot be terrorized with fear. That is the problem of the people of the northern regions. These are people who, when they make up their mind to fight, they fight. They fight and they're ready to die fighting. They are not afraid of death. They are not shy to tell you what they think. And they're not shy in telling you how far they will go. This is a major problem. In my broadcast earlier in the day, I presented to you a gentleman. And you see, this is a responsible person who showed his face on camera to say 1 week to all the civil administrators, 1 week to brigade commanders, 1 week to heads of police unit, 1 week to soldiers who are based or heads of battalions who are based in the northern regions, to swear or to commit publicly that they were paying allegiance to Issa Tchiroma Bakari. But if they won't do so, they should leave. And if they don't, they will go back in coffins. Now you don't even need Issa Tchiroma Bakari's voice to say this. This is the difference. You don't need Issa Tchiroma Bakari's voice to say this. So if you look at the things that are happening right now on the ground, this should begin to make a lot of sense to you. And then again, I want us to take note. Before Issa Tchiroma Bakari fled Garoua, he was in his house, under house arrest. They had all the forces there. They had the B, the infantry, the gendarme, the special forces, the police, but they could not raid his house really to capture him. Do you know why? Because they knew that using excessive force and killing a lot of people, because people surrounded his house in layers, ready to die, that they could trigger a situation so violently they could not control. That alone is an indication to you that even Yaounde has an idea what they are up against. This is very fundamental, because when you get all of this, they will help you to process what is coming before you. So articles like those of Zebaze should be taken with a pinch of salt. I say so because the days ahead, you may have the feeling that, oh, this whole thing is dying down. You may have that feeling perhaps if you look at Bafoussam. You may have that feeling perhaps if you look at Yaounde. Yaounde perhaps life is even literally returning to, normal. You will have this feeling when you look at Douala, but don't forget, Paul Biya's government depends on the army. That's on the armed forces. That's all segments included, including the police, the gendarmes, the soldiers, the B, the presidential guard, the everything. And now, to have their total loyalty, to have them continue to sustain the system, they need to make these forces, these people in the armed forces, believe that they are part and parcel of the system and they are benefiting from the corruption that has been officialized by this system. That is why they are free to go out there, capture people anyhow with impunity and collect money. And so what they don't know is that by going after indigenes of the northern regions, particularly in Yaounde, in Douala, and in other southern towns, capturing them and collecting huge monies from them as ransom in exchange for their freedom, they are sending a message to the northerners. They are reminding the northerners about 1984. And that 1984 is coming back fresh in the minds of the northerners. Listen, Issa Tchiroma Bakari does not only recall the events of 1984 as someone who was a passive victim for being an indigene of the northern regions. No, Issa Tchiroma Bakari was a direct victim of the events of 1984. And so therefore, he has a clear idea exactly who these people are. And he knows, they are all aware, that if things were to end up dying down like this completely, the crackdown on the northerners for daring in the first place to want to put down the Biya system would be unimaginable. So for the northerners, they know that they have one way only, which is a hard way. And that is the only way. Resist all the way to the end. Give me freedom or give me death. And I think they have picked the signals. They have picked the signals, and that is why you are seeing things go the way they are going. And again, as I said in my last broadcast, it is dawning on a lot of people in La République du Cameroon. It is dawning on them right now that the Biya system has no intention to end. When I did a presentation here on the strategy de conservation du pouvoir de génération en génération, it sounded theoretical. But I think right now, a lot of people are looking at that document with clearer lenses now. A lot of people are looking at it now. I can appreciate that from the feedback that I'm getting. A lot of people are calling me and asking, but how long has this document been, for how long has this document been there? Because everything that is said in that document, they can see it in operation. So merely coming out to announce opening of the entrance examination into École Normale or allowing the doctoral programs, how many people are going to get PhD certificates, and how much does it cost? They are not going to do those things free of charge. It's going to cost money. And if you have been in the system, you understand that even when people go do those things, finalize the research and all whatnot, to defend your thesis on time, you have to spend a lot of money, sometimes to pay for the mission allowances of jury members. Because if you have to wait until the government disburses the funds allocated for those things for the jury members to come, you may wait for even 3 or 4 years after you have completed your research project. That is what it is after you have completed research on your thesis. So that is absolutely a non-event, really a non-event. So folks, I'm telling you this, take it from me. What you are seeing, La République du Cameroon has not started. The people have come to a clear understanding that one and indivisible means that you submit yourself to the Bulu Ekan kingdom. If you are not going to submit yourself to the Bulu Ekan kingdom, one and indivisible should not exist. And now you will be embarrassed. Please don't go away. I'm coming to talk about Issa Tchiroma Bakari. It's not coming out today, so just hang in there. We are going through very fast, and I know we don't have any intention of getting long. You see, a lot of citizens of La République du Cameroon are now understanding why the people of the southern Cameroons, why the people of Ambazonia have been fighting. And a lot of them are now coming out to recognize that it is going to be impossible in the current dispensation to have some rubbish called one and indivisible Cameroon. Because if one and indivisible Cameroon means submitting yourself to the Bulu Ekan dictates, then there is no point having it. And one of such people, these people who usually looked at us, called us terrorists, called us all kinds of names, and said, no, we're just very wicked people, do not understand, and who sang one and indivisible, put up their flag and remind us about it day in, day out. Oh no, they are now saying something different. Let's listen very briefly to Calibro here.
Le peuple, dans sa majorité, exige Tchiroma Bakari. Non seulement il prête serment, il est rapidement aussi. Parce que c'est ça qui va se passer. Tchiroma Bakari peut prêter serment à n'importe quel endroit où il se trouve. Les chiffres, il donne sa victoire claire et nette sont évidents. Il a gagné et c'est évident, c'est la victoire du peuple qui doit amener le peuple jusqu'au bout de son processus. Le peuple ne s'arrêtera pas en route. C'est le peuple qui a voté, ce n'est pas Issa Tchiroma Bakari. Et le peuple a des exigences. En ce moment précis, le peuple exige de Issa Tchiroma Bakari non seulement une prestation de serment dans les règles propres, mais la nomination de son gouvernement une bonne fois pour toutes. On divise le pays. On n'a plus le temps à perdre. Comme c'est comme ça, mieux on fait comme ça. Comme c'est comme ça, les enfants, mieux on fait comme ça. On n'a plus un seul pays. On ne peut plus avoir un pays où il n'y a que Paul Biya qui nous fait du sale. C'est bon, les anglophones ont pris un bout. Il n'y a pas de problème. On les encourage, on comprend aujourd'hui. On va les aider à sécuriser même le bout qu'ils ont pris. Mais je pense personnellement que maintenant que Issa Tchiroma Bakari lui-même, une fois qu'il a prêté serment et qu'il prête serment et qu'il nomme son gouvernement et tout, ok, et bien nous aussi, ceux qui ont voté pour Issa Tchiroma Bakari vont aller chez Issa Tchiroma Bakari, président Issa Tchiroma Bakari, et le reste, vous allez rester avec Paul Biya. Mais il est important qu'on divise ce pays.
Now, I want to end there. So you see, when you listen to Calibro here, this is not the Calibro that you knew before. This is not the Calibro that you knew before. The Calibro that you knew before was that one who was so seriously opposed to any kind of thing. Oh no, these people cannot go away. No, le Cameroun restera un et indivisible. But today you hear him tell you, he says the people of the southern Cameroons, we need to encourage them. Now we understand you. Now we hear you. Now we can see that you have seen this thing before us. Now it is evident to everyone that you had struggled. You, the people of southern Cameroons, had struggled a lot to see how to change this country, that all of us should enjoy it. But it ended up being very clear to you that with Biya and his civils, with the Bulu Ekan, kingdom, no, change is not possible. So you understood. And that's why he's now saying that Issa Tchiroma Bakari won the elections. And the people who voted for Issa Tchiroma Bakari in their huge numbers are urging him to take the oath of office wherever he cares, wherever he finds himself, whether he's abroad, he's in Garwa, he's wherever, whether he's in space. Wherever he takes the oath of office, that will be okay by them. And he says he should not only end there, take his oath of office, name his government, and then they can now go ahead. He said the country, there's no point again talk about one and indivisible. One and indivisible now is nonsense. And so they are even ready to give help to the people of the southern Cameroons to secure their territory. While, of course, in return, they are expecting to help them to secure the rest of the country that will fall under Issa Tchiroma Bakari, while allowing Bia and his Bulu Ekang tribe to manage their Bulu Ekang kingdom, which will be made up of the center and the south, as it is the case right now. So this is a clear departure. This is desperation. This shows you that the people have now come to that real understanding that it is not just about 7 years. No, it's not even just about 14 years. Because as I said earlier, they are already in the laboratories producing the slogan for 2032 and already printing the Paul Biya for President 2032 t-shirts. Because as far as they are concerned, since they have succeeded in getting Cameroonians to be used to the fact that Paul Biya's picture can stand and campaign of its own volition. That Paul Biya's picture can stand behind and be giving instructions to Ferdinand Gongo and others, and then they run them. So that is never going to stop. And I said earlier that the risk that they run is that he will even die and nobody will know because the picture will not die. The picture will continue to be there. And so therefore, they have come to understand that if you accept now, you will accept tomorrow, and you accept again the day after tomorrow, because there is no limit to your acceptance. They have gotten used to that fact that they can always use force to impose themselves. So the only way you stop them is using another strategy, not hoping that you can use the ballot box. One thing that I want to say here is that this kind of realization, oh, before I get there, listen to this other gentleman here.
To all my Anglophone people there in Cameroon, this message, la fauna. Before I start, I want to say big sorry, big sorry to you all, because we Francophone people, we did not follow you during your struggle. Me, I'm an honest person. I don't lie. When you guys started in 2016, we were busy drinking, dancing, calling you Bamenda, anglophone. Oh, ce sont les anglophones, ils ne savent pas à quoi dire. Ils vont se calmer là-bas. Especially those in Yaounde. We didn't follow you. And today, we can see for ourselves that you are the one. You saw it coming. But we were so blind. We thought there was a way to communicate with these people. But trust me, what you did is the right thing to do. Sorry, I swear to God, you Anglophone people, you are, I don't know, it's a blessing for this country to have you. Because what you can see, what an Anglophone person can see, seated, Francophone man go stand, you know, go see. You know the lie. This one, now pure truth. You guys, you have eyes. You wanted to escape from this nonsense long time ago, but we did not follow you. Because if we have followed, things would have been different. We didn't. We are cows. All of us, we are cowards because we are scared. This is Francophone people. We talk too much. We are scared. We can't really do anything without somebody calling himself God, God of heaven, the King of kings, the mighty God of humanity, Olbia. Yes, respect to you, my Anglophone people. Yes. Now,
Okay,
it's too late now.
I will leave
We
him
are waking up. It
right
might be
there.
too late now because if we
I
we
will
followed
let him go right,
your strong.
right there. But for one thing, you have heard him say, they are waking up now. And I'm glad to hear that expression, they are waking up now. So you see, reality is hitting home. You can hear them. That's the second person talking, besides Calibro. They are coming to the realization now that we had seen. We had seen a long time ago. On this platform, I said it too many times. We have no future with that country. And those enablers, let me call them like that, those members of the CPDM crime syndicate that have been trying to confuse our people over time and claim that, oh, no, 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 we should stay, you know this thing. No, those people, these children, they are leading you astray, they are separatists, they are this and that. I told you day in, day out that these people were members of an ethnic group called the National Ethnic Group. All those people, the Fu Jonathans, the Callistus Fulgentry, the Atanga Ponji, all those who call themselves members of parliament, the Fotabe Tando, the Mbela Moki Charles, the Ndode Agnes, the Mukete, all of those people, John Gute, all of them, I will not be able to name all of them, but all of these people, they belong to a national ethnic group. A national ethnic group, which is that group that put together constitutes what is called the CPDM crime syndicate. And now this national ethnic group, its base is the Bulu Ekam tribe. That's what it is. Its base, the base of this national ethnic group is the Bulu Ekam tribe. I don't care whether the average person in the Bulu Ekam tribe does not benefit from this massive power grab, massive corruption, massive theft of the people's destinies. But they have allowed themselves to be used year in, year out, election cycle after election cycle. So it is their lot. So therefore, my people of the southern Cameroons, when you hear it from these people, I'm sure you can believe me. You know, he says that they make a lot of noise. That's why I've always referred to them as our noisy neighbors. They make a lot of noise, but they were never able to move. But now that they are getting out of slumber, it is not within the framework of a unified fight. We have understood clearly that given the dynamics of international relations, given the dynamics of imperialism, given the dynamics of French domination in Africa, staying with those people in whatever form or shape will never benefit the southern Cameroonians. And we don't have any reason, first of all, to belong to the French colony. We were not a French colony. So that is why I'm seizing this singular moment to say, I hope you open your ears. You talk to those who are still lodging around and making stupid claims about federalism, this and that, and all whatnot. If you want to know whether someone is beginning to have his eyes open, ask Nkongo Felix Agbobala. Ask him how the federal experience is coming. We fought for him. We went into the streets. We did all sorts of things to get him out of jail when we believed he was fighting for our cause. When he came out, he decided to side with the oppressor. And of course, he even referred to us to a good lot of times as terrorists, referred to us to a good lot of times as these things or that things from both sides. He stood him now somewhere like an honest broker. Today, that he decided to get engaged for opportunism, at least he is now understanding that that system has no soul. That system has no heart. That system, he has only one language. The language of resistance, resistance, and resistance. The language of give me freedom or give me death. That's the only language that Yaounde hears. So we definitely will be welcoming Nkongo Felix Agbobala. I mean, in the days ahead. I mean, into exile. He's coming to join this big family into exile now. He's not alone. A good lot of them are finding out now that they too may soon not be able to go back to that triangle. This is what it is. And so, while citizens of La République du Cameroon are now coming to terms with this fact, is it not time for those of you who are still doubting that it makes sense for us to get La République du Cameroon and their colonial presence out of our territory to come to the fold? Better come to the fold. This is time. And this time had been expected. I had talked about this time over and over. I said this time will come. Everyone will have their turn at the barbers. And when they get their turn at the barbers, they will understand where the shoe pinches. And it will be that time propitious enough for us to put in all the energy we can imagine, all the energy we can manage, the energy of 100 vexed lions to cross the finish line. This is what it is. And let's listen to the third individual, still a citizen of La République du Cameroun, that will talk about Tchiroma's current silence and close up. Hear him.
Moi, je ne serais pas étonné que dans les prochains jours, que le drapeau de l'ambazonien de la République soit planté. Et nous, cette République-là, au même moment que le drapeau est planté dans le nord du Cameroun. C'est les écrans qui ont fait croire aujourd'hui que leurs ennemis, ce sont les Bamileke ou ce sont les nordistes, qu'ils se rappellent toujours que ce ne sont pas les Bamileke, ce ne sont pas les nordistes qui ont tué Martinez Zogo.
I will stop there.
Martinez Zogo.
So, you hear him. This is yet another person. So he says, we will not be surprised with the current disorder that will suddenly see the people of Ambazonia now be able to hoist their flags on the territory. Oh yes, be able now to fully claim land, to fully claim territory, to fully start kicking them out local government area after local government area, county after county, until we push the last of the colonial relics, of the recolonization relics out of our land. And he says, we will recognize. You now notice that the number of people who were mobilized in La République du Cameroun to fight the people of the southern Cameroons as we're fighting for our freedom has dropped tremendously. You now realize that total support for the cause of the people of the southern Cameroons is growing among the citizens of the oppressor. Don't actually take them for their words that they are going to come to support you. It is that out of desperation, they need you and I to stand, be independent, so we can give them support too to get their own freedom. That's what it is. We are now on the marketplace of ideas. It will now be a matter of what? Give and take. Achidiachu used to call it what? The late Simon Achidiachu used to call it what? You scratch my back, I scratch your own. We are getting to that place right now. That's why I said earlier on in the day that the fields are white and harvest is waiting. So the people of La République du Cameroun have now understood that right now the choice that they have, given the actions that they have seen clearly before their eyes, that the choice that they have is between death and death. No, it's not a choice between death and life. It's a choice between death and death. Because whether they resist, if they resist, they may die. They don't resist, they will still die anyway, one way or the other. So the choice that they have now is between death and death. That is why they are likely to stand and stand firm. And at least why I'm saying so, because there is a section of the country, the northern regions, that have already made clear, whether others are with them or not, they are ready to stand up. Because even through the voice of Abubakar Usman May, who himself is in jail right now, we had heard that they will not tolerate another Biya term. They will not. He said the North will fight. And he always said all the options are on the table. All the options are on the table. So, my dear people, we always have to stand ready. Now, talking about Issa Tchiroma Bakari, I have it on good authority that contrary to some of the reports that you're finding on social media, oh, Issa Tchiroma Bakari should be under house arrest and all of those things. No, Issa Tchiroma Bakari is not under house arrest. Issa Tchiroma Bakari is not under house arrest in Nigeria. True that he definitely should be somewhere in Nigeria, but he is not under house arrest. But why has Issa Tchiroma Bakari not yet spoken? Why has he not taken the oath of office? Now, note that there are the trappings of international relations, the trappings of diplomatic relations, the trappings of getting through this thing and making sure you don't take that oath of office now or name a government now, and the next minute something happens and it is nipped in the bud. So I have understood that they are doing checks and balances, making sure they refine the strategy, and they are concluding some kinds of agreements that should pave the way for this to happen and happen in a very smooth manner. And from what I've gotten from them, even if you don't get Issa Tchiroma Bakari speaking within the next 48 hours, you are going to get his communication team now beginning to take the challenge and the step up. But all said and done, Issa Tchiroma Bakari, I've been told, is definitely going to take the oath of office. Whether today, whether tomorrow, whether the day after tomorrow, it is something that is going to happen. Issa Tchiroma Bakari will take the oath of office, and Issa Tchiroma Bakari will fight, and Issa Tchiroma Bakari will, pull it up against La République du Cameroon. So, my dear people, like I said, as the news drops, as the news breaks, I will be here so that together we'll make meaning of what exactly is happening. So I want to thank you for your very kind attention once more. If you are not subscribed, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. And at all costs, share the link to these communications as much as possible. The people of the Southern Cameroons need to be ready. The people of the Southern Cameroons need to begin mobilizing again. The people of the Southern Cameroons need to know that the opportunity we're waiting for is here. And recall, I've always said one dictum, that don't miss it. Success happens when opportunity meets preparation. Success happens when opportunity meets preparation. You have seen that the people of La République du Cameroon are making sense of one thing I've always said here, that anytime you settle for less than you deserve, you end up with less than you settled for. So, my dear people of the Southern Cameroons, we can no longer afford to settle for less than we deserve. We have done that before, and we know the result. Thank you very much for your kind attention. To God be the glory.